Hey, Composing Gloves here, and today we're going to be looking at sample session production. So we have our kick, which is like whatever right now, and then we have this thing. And I could do so much more with that too. And then we have this. Like, what the heck are you, what is that kind of, what are you talking about? So we're talking about in drum and bass, there's sort of some major factors that go into it before people go into a song to help them when they get into the actual production stage. I know that Noisia uses this technique. There's a future music video of him doing it. It is when you create samples specifically to do something later. So we're like, hey, we want to make a cool drum and bass track. So we're like, hey, why don't we just, produce a bunch of samples, a bunch of loops. You saw one of them earlier. We had things that were going that direction. In the last video, I'm on sequencing a break using samples. So I'm going to do one with a kick. And here we're going to go a couple steps farther. We're going to take into consideration maybe mixing decisions. And we're also going to take into consideration not really go farther. We're gonna go, and then you're gonna see sort of some of the things that go into this. We're not gonna make a loop. We made a loop last time, and it wasn't necessarily a done loop, but you could try switching out samples and making it the loop of your dreams. However, I'm gonna set my tempo up to 175. So that I know, like, when you name stuff, you're going to want to name the tempo you did it at, but you also save it with slice marker, so it'll be fine. We're going to do maybe a one-shot sound, and then we're also going to do a bass sound. I have no clue yet exactly what it's going to be. So first, let's just come in here, and one of the basic things people do is, you grab some kicks, just grab a bunch of kicks. A bunch of kicks that sound cool. So we're going to pick some kicks, and we're going to make a sort of a pseudo kick sound that maybe we'll use. I kind of like the weirdness of that one. It's got that low end. What the heck? And that one. Why not? So we're going to put them all on there, right? And then we're going to process each one differently. So that one's going to go to 1, 2. Oh, they're already going to different channels. How convenient is that? So we're going to solo it. So this is just going to be like the main body of our kick. I'm not going to worry too much about that one. This one has some stuff going on. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pan it to the left. But actually, you know what? It wouldn't be a good idea with that noise going on. What would be kind of cool is if it's going to be a kick. We want to be careful about how we do some of this. So what'll be interesting is we're going to be doing compression, but not all of our kick sound will be compressed. I'm actually going to boost the high, but cut the mids. Okay, and then I'm going to compress it. Just bring it down. We're working with these two. So let's hear what these sound like together. This one, let's compress this one too. Well, first let's go through EQ. This one is not going to be dealing with our upper stuff. It's going to be mostly sub. So I'm fine with this for now. Okay, and that's fine. Got our EQ sort of. We should generally, you want to pick a pitch that we're going to sit around, boost around 100, 130. Because we're going to prep this for drum and bass, so we'll probably have some sort of a huge sub hanging out around there. So this is just a textural kick. And what I want to do is I'm going to go to Stereo Shaper, go to Effects, and we're going to go to Old 2 and leave it at that. So, okay, I'm just doing this really fast, but when you're doing this, you could literally spend hours doing stuff like this. We're going to turn on kick 3, turn the other two off. we're really starting to get something that kind of is a cool sounding kick. So let's come in here, add in another. Not going to compress this one. I'm going to bring this down a little. No, I like it up. Okay, and that's fine. So this last one, we are going to come in here on 4. Let's hear it. Let's do something sort of crazy with this one. Let's try just slapping random crap. Let's distort it after that. That's kind of cool. And let's add an EQ. I'm looking for that upper crackle. Be kind of a unique kick. Now we're already dealing with stuff that's been quite processed heavily already. So now instead of working on it here, what you could do to get a lot more sort of results from kick sounds like this is you drag them all on there, right? And you move them around. You mess with the phase of each one. And then you record a bunch of different versions of it. So what I'm going to do is try moving this guy back a little. Move them back with the other subs. And what this will also do is you get that sort of like a little bit at the beginning, which adds to the sort of, it gives it a little bit more of a crisp. I think it sounds a little more transient, depending on, it depends on the samples obviously, but then having it up there at the beginning. They eat each other for the sub space. This will space out our sub through the kick. Sounds kind of nice. For this thing, it's kind of wise to keep these things in the mono land. And we have that space on that one. This guy, I feel like this guy could be even more. What the heck, man? They're not going to the things. Whatever, dude, man, bro. 1, 2. It's like, well, that sounded way tamer than what we left it as. 4. There we go. So here. Now on this, let's try. Sit. Do you have the ear of a producer? Okay. I like that. This thing I think we may have overdone. On whoosh 2. Where is that? Let's take this back. I take it back. This thing is like, let's see if we can find a. Sometimes you can sort of hear that they did similar things. Let's just bring this down a little. Let's bring this out. I'm cool with that. It definitely needs to be pitched down though. You can hear the tuning makes a big difference on the impact of the kick too, especially when you layer stuff like this. Yeah, that crackle. I'm not digging the crack as much anymore. I might consider just adding that later or something else. But I like the feel we have on this thing. So that might be something I'd record. So, I come in here, I have the urge to hit Control S and go to Edison and just on play, hit record. Call that good. Hit Control C, Control A, delete, Control V, and then drag it back on there. And now you have this, and you could layer that in there, and together these form this. Now keep in mind that we recorded it before it hit the limiter, which in FL, for whatever reason, they love. Oh wait, you know what? The gain is set to 0. Did they change that? Last time I checked, it didn't do that. Oh, it used to be that the gain was up here. Way cool. I'm down for that. Okay, so this is the same thing though as this. Didn't want to lock it. So anyways, that's the idea. You come through here, you get crazy with the mixing. And now we have sort of this cool pseudo version that we can now mess with further should we desire. You just hit it and you'd be like sample production, turn caps lock off. And then what is today? Like 26, July 26. And then you go to FLP, FL12 projects and you save it and you're like, all right, cool. Okay, now let's do that same thing only with the bass this time. So now we have sort of our cool kick thing. Now this is being done really fast. I'm not really aiming for something specific. Did I turn down something? Yes, this is off. So it's whatever, That's fine. Like, get crazy, be creative. Now, on this one, now you could take stuff, you could try resampling it and see sort of what you get. I'm going to do something just simple with Harmor and use some Harmor stuff. So let's come in here. Let's open up a new pattern and just make something crazy with Harmor, right? So I'm going to do this super quick just to give you an idea of some of the things you could do. We come in here, turn the unison up, turn that down, turn the phase up. That's kind of cool. Flat hat, turn it up, turn this a little bit up, turn that up. Turn it down an octave. Oh yeah. Okay, now let's turn the compression on inside Harmor. That's kind of cool. So then we're going to go ahead and resample that. We'll keep it simple. Something usable. So, okay, we're just going to start with that. If you have an idea of what key your song's going to be in, you may consider using that instead. But anyways, here we go. On play, record. Okay, cool. So simple enough, right? Do something like that. Control C, Control A, delete, Control V. And drag it on there. Now we have this. Now we could go back into Harmor and do stuff, which is totally a viable option. I'm going to move these things over here. Just because I don't know if I'm going to ever want to go back to that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, of course, Harmor is beautiful because it can do stuff like this. So there's my sample inside Harmor. I'm going to open up a new thing. And go to C5 because remember, it's been set the original pitch. Okay, so it's been brought down. So again, to get the stereo image. So we have some soft saturation going on. So you see, it's already pretty friggin' dope. So, okay. So we're going to get rid of that. Now, I'm going to just go through 2 layers, and I'm moving outrageously fast. But for you people who know about Harmor and the things it can do, I have 2 series on sound design with Harmor and Harmor from the ground up. So it's like, go watch those if you're that concerned. Now, I'm going to use really quick an EQ, and I like doing this sort of a combo. So the EQ will change how it hits the wave shaper later. And so let's just create something kind of cool here. We're going to do 4, and I'll do another little bump. I'll move 3 around like that, create automation clip, and 4 around, create another automation clip, move these guys around. So I'll put 2 on top just so it's less confusing. But frequency band 3, oh my gosh, let me really quick go see this real quick. So 4 is the bigger one. So 4, this top one is the big hump. So this is going to be like more timbre movement. So maybe keep it a little bit subtle over here, and then over here I just go a little crazy. Down here, just small movements just to vary it up, give it a little bit of movement, a little bit more life. Now, when we're doing that, this also will change how it hits a wave shaper. So I have a whole video on the wave shaper, and I use it all the time. So it shouldn't be like, you should be able to find plenty of stuff about the wave shaper on my channel. This will give me a more throaty texture right there. Like I've used this so much that I have ideas about how things will respond in the wave shaper now. But when you're brand new starting off, you need to really understand the basis of how the wave shaper works in order to really get it. And if you don't have a wave shaper, I have a free one that's available. Well, I don't have a free one. Extra Records makes a free one. I do a video about it in my free VST videos. So go look up free VST in the playlist and you will find it. That is pretty darn cool. Now, let's see. That could be useful, but I'm not going to get that crazy right now because that'd be a lot more steps. So we could do that. Another cool thing you could do, so we could record this. So let's record this as one step, as one sample that we possibly are into. So we'll hit that, hit on record. Okay, cool. So we have our thing, right? It's, oops, Control Z, Control C, Control A, delete, Control V. And okay, so there's that thing. It's saved. We could go through another step of this. As you see, I could get pretty crazy. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what it sounds like on it. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to leave that there for this one. And on this one, I'm going to add another EQ. And I'm going to essentially use it as a filter. I'm going to go to type, band pass, and I'm going to include some resonant peaks on the, maybe right there. Oh, right there. I think it'd be kind of messy. You got to keep in mind that some of these resonant peaks could make your stuff sound kind of boxy, so you could be kind of weary. This will give me a bright timbre. So that's kind of a cool thing right there. So now let's move 4 around, and this is now the band pass. So I'm gonna name this band pass automation. When I'm doing stuff like this, though, I'm not nearly that organized. But anyways, this is my bandpass automation track. So I can start out kind of low. So get some cool sort of wisp, get a variety of wisp sounds. Because I'm not necessarily going to use this as a straight shot. I may just take pieces of this. And then over here we do something a little like this. Whoops. What, now you're not hearing the full effect of what it's doing right now because I am doing stuff at the same time, and it will automatically, when playing back, go to whatever I'm doing. So it's kind of a weird thing. Let's see what that sounds like. What'd be kind of cool is if when we did that thing, we also automated the frequency, that frequency bend we have right there. So this is a frequency multiplier. It's a cool deal. Anyways, I'm going to move it up just a touch right here and then go back down to bottom. This is actually pretty extreme. It's going to be a huge change. This, like, you'll hear it. Yeah, see, it's enormous. Okay, so, because it's a multiplier. So anyways, yeah, you see it. You can just get in here and mess with it and do a bunch of crazy stuff. And you record it, you sample it, and then later on you pull it out in a later track and you can make some pretty cool stuff. Now we stopped there, but imagine adding in additional layers of stuff and just going even crazier. So I just want to introduce that as a concept to you, so that if you ever see like these sessions can be extraordinarily productive. You can learn a ton about how your synthesizer works. They're fun. They're sort of addicting. And later on, at the very least, you could release it as some sort of a sample pack that other people could use to get creative with. And you just go crazy. As you saw, you started with something super simple like a stupid sine wave or distorted saw wave or whatever. And you get some pretty crazy stuff after just a couple resamples and started getting somewhere. So we have this thing. So we have our kick, which is like whatever right now. And then we have this thing. And I could do so much more with that too. And then we have this. So yeah, if you have any questions about this, let me know. Fun topic. It is sort of like a niche thing. Like I have tons of series on sound design, and it's mostly those principles. This series is going to be mostly about compositional and production, but I will have some sound design stuff. But a lot of that stuff I reserve for knowledge about your plugins and processing and, sound synth basic, sound design with that kind of a thing. Subscribe and have a blessed day. Make it burn them. You know, the one where they light people on fire? Just kidding. I haven't really paid attention to the music video. But anyways, we're going to make the Bernie bass. Not the political one, the Bernie bass. So, okay. So here is the original. And here's what I got. That's the second attempt, actually. Here's